The Securities and Exchange Commission has promulgated rules which makes it easier to be protected from online scams and investments by requiring that any enterprise that does something different than full disclosure of an investment only does that to what's called an accredited investor or a qualified institutional buyer. And it is used to identify persons who have sufficient knowledge and expertise to participate in investment opportunities without investor protection. So basically, an investment company either has to give you very, very significant investor protections, which a scammer is not going to want to do, or they're going to say you have to be an accredited investor. And there's certain things that go along with determining if you're eligible to be an accredited investor. Sometimes it has to do with amount of liquid cash. Sometimes it has to do with experience. But if you are, let's say, a private company or a hedge fund and you're asking people to send you money, you either need to do very, very detailed disclosures and protections, or you need to only sell to accredited investors. And again, you want to get good legal advice to make sure that you understand what you're getting into with an investment. But this is typically how scammers get around the types of disclosures and protections that are required by the SEC, is by saying, well, you're an accredited investor. If they are defining you as an accredited investor and you're not, that's another form of the fraud. And here's some of the categories for investors who have certain knowledge. If you have a professional certification, if you're a Series 7 license, if you have knowledgeable employees of a private fund, such as a hedge fund, those are qualified as accredited investors for investments in that fund, right? Spousal equivalent, under current definition, a natural person may qualify by having at least $300,000 in joint income or $1 million in joint net worth, right? These are some of the things that trigger accredited investor. Sometimes a scammer will have you sign some affidavits saying you're representing to be an accredited investor and that you meet certain qualifications. And if you don't, they're going to claim that you artificially defrauded them by claiming that. So make sure that if you're being asked to qualify as an accredited investor, you know that the purpose of this is not to give yourself any extra credit. It's not an ego thing about you. It's a way for the fraudster to not have to do disclosures and provide you protection. So anytime you see accredited investor requirements and you're asked to certify that, you may want to get good legal advice from a qualified attorney to find out if what they're asking for is legitimate, if you're not sure, or make sure the investment is not a scam, because in many cases scammers use accredited investor status to not have to give you the full protections and disclosures that normal investments have to give to people who are sending them money.